Welcome to the Level Up Your Band podcast, episode 62. Hello and welcome back to the Level Up Your Band podcast. My name is Gavin Patterson and I'm here with Julian Pombo.
I'm just going to stare at the camera. Hi. Hello.
Freshly haircut.
I got a new... Yes, I have no hair. You can properly see my widow's peak now.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's a chunky widow's peak.
It's quite chunky, isn't it? Yeah. I'm quite glad that it's not a super pointy one, you know.
My hairline is pretty much the same as that. In fact, mine's probably like way deeper than that. I'm just hiding my receding hairline with all my curly locks. I don't have a receding hairline, but it is very high.
Man, it's a grown ass man hairline. That's what it is.
Well,
you know,
I'm coming up in 30 years old in a few months. So it's.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get you 30 bottles of ginger beer.
Oh yeah, I would love that. I would genuinely love that. Like.
Yeah,
I love Fentiman's ginger beer. It's the
best
Fentiman's ginger beer.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I really like a lot of Fentiman stuff.
They're great.
It's just so good. Their cola is great. Their lemonade's really good. But sometimes, you know, you need to curb your habits because you know that Fentiman habit could get out of control, which is what this episode's about.
Yeah.
Oh, my segues, man.
I know that was really good. We should just
do
a
podcast
on
one.
Julian's segues.
Anyway,
habits.
This was
stuff.
kind of we were thinking about different ideas, and this has actually been on my. It's been on my mind for a while because I don't know if you remember this. I was practicing double bass. No, it wasn't even double bass. It was bass guitar of all things, bass guitar, and I got blisters from playing bass guitar. I got blisters on my fingers. I couldn't believe it, and I was like, "This isn't good. I need to get into some. I need to develop some good habits." So this is kind of what this is about. So yeah, because the thing is that through lockdown as well, all of our habits, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, social habits. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have forgotten how to eat in front of other people. They're just just eating their cereal with their fingers, like you know. I'm kidding, obviously. Like, but you know, little things like that. You know, hygiene might have gone down. You know, especially if you don't need to leave the house, you know. But for me, it was little practice things, and I was like, that's not good. Need to sort that out.
Yep.
So we're gonna start where we always start, which is the bad stuff, right? So before you start establishing some good habits, right? You need to kind of realize, you need to sit down and go, right, well, what am I doing wrong?
Yep.
What do I need to work on? Right? So you need to be really careful with this, because like a good habit can feel like a bad habit, and some bad habits feel good. That's the tricky thing.
Trying to identify which are which.
Yeah, and identifying which are difficult, man. It's hard. So
I watched a video that's kind of related to this. You're aware of George Lucas, the film director, Star Wars, Indiana Jones.
Yes.
He did a speech on not necessarily habits, but it was this relationship between I think the way he phrased it was joy versus pleasure.
Yes.
So what the way he phrased it was, he spent his whole life pursuing joy, not pleasure. and he reckons that was why he was so successful as a person, because like joy to him, like what he means by joy is long-term happiness in your life, whereas pleasure is very short-lived. It's very instant. It's instantly, it's instant gratification for something you do, like smoking a cigarette or eating a donut. That's pleasure. But joy is, eating healthy for years and being able to be fit enough in your old age to enjoy your life right to the end. Things like that.
Yeah, totally. It's like hedonism and stoicism.
Yes,
it's like two different approaches. One of them, I think, you get a better outcome. Mm-hmm. But pure hedonism is just it's no good.
Yeah.
Really,
it's a downward spiral.
Because then because it's like once you start seeking every pleasure, not just some, like, if you're gonna, like everything, you're gonna spiral out of control and you're not gonna feel good, or you're gonna die, at a really young age, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's, yeah. So, some things are bad habits.
Yep.
Things that just make you unhappy in general, and they can be little things, like that you don't realize that are making you unhappy until you actually sit down and think about it. Like getting up late for me, right? See, Getting up late is something that ruins my day.
Mm-hmm.
If I get up late, and like staying up late isn't an issue, because I'm quite flexible in that I can go to sleep early if I want to and get up early the next day, or I could if I feel like I want to work later into the night and go to sleep later, I can usually bounce back from that. Sometimes I'm quite tired and I end up sleeping in or whatever, but which is fine. Like I'm not saying like the occasional sleep in's okay, but if you're getting into the habit of like waking up at like, I don't know, 1 PM, don't know what that's doing for you, really.
Yeah.
You've I
think the thing with that is if you get up at 1 PM and go to bed at, I don't know, 8 hours prior, if you do that every single day and it's part of your routine and part of your, maybe you work around your job, you do back shift or something, and it's a regular routine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally, because it's regular and it's structured. But if it's more of a staying up late because you're, I don't know, playing video games or just not going to bed, not having a proper routine, and then some days you do and some days you don't, that's bad. When there's no pattern,
when it's not consistent.
My routine is usually I go to bed quite late and get up a little bit later than most, because and as I said, in normal times I do a lot of weddings and I get home late a lot. But sometimes I get in, at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I can't physically go to bed early and get up early for 5 days in the week, and then at the weekend suddenly adjust my clock 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's like huge jet lag. It would mean that when I got into my van to drive home, I'd be so tired that I would just crash my van. I don't want to do that. So I set my clock back so that I'm staying up late and getting up late. But I maintain that regular pattern through the week, and I'm still productive because I'm still getting the same amount of work done as anyone else would. Because
it's just a different time.
My job isn't predicated on whether the sun is in the sky or not. It doesn't matter.
And most people's jobs aren't really anymore.
Yeah, unless you're a farmer.
For me, it's more of unless you are a farmer. Yeah, for me, it's more of a psychological thing. Even though if I've been inside all day, right? If I don't see the sun at all, it really bums me out.
Yeah,
it's even though I'm more of a winter person, right? for me, getting up early in the winter is important. Because psychologically, otherwise it just throws me for a loop.
Right.
For the rest of the day, and this is just, again, like, each individual is different. So, like, for me, getting up early is important, even if I am gigging late. Like, if I was playing a gig in Aberdeen and I get home at like 4 or 5 in the morning, I'll still get up around, like, latest I'll get up is about 8.
See, I can't do that.
Sometimes 9.
I can't do that.
And I will feel rough. I will feel rough for most of the day, but I know that I'll get to the end of the day, I'll go to sleep at about 10,
Yeah.
and I'll wake up the next morning, I'll feel fine. So, like, those days for me are just like, I'm just feeling a little, I'll just have a little bit more coffee.
Yeah.
than I normally would.
I used to be able to do that, and as I got a wee bit older, it started to become a bit harder. I sound like an old man, but it is true. Yeah, I don't bounce back as fast, and that'll only get worse the older I get. But the what I used to do, I mean, maybe I think it was like wedding season 2017 or 18. What I ended up doing, I would have a gig in, say, I don't know, Perth, which is like a 2-hour drive. I would get home at 3 in the morning, because I would leave the venue about 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Drive all the way home, and I would have a band recording the next morning at 10 a.m. And of course, when they arrive, they expect the drum kit and the mics and everything to be set up. And of course, I'm a drummer, so I've had my drums out. So I have to drive home, unpack the van, set up my drum kit, set up microphones, cables, patch bays, all this, make sure the session's ready. So that could take like an hour. So I wouldn't get to bed till like 4 in the morning after I'd done all that, and then get up and get into the studio for 9 o'clock to start the session, get the coffee machine on, turn on the studio, all that, so that when they arrive at 9:45, I'm all ready to go. That started really taking a toll on me, because I was getting so busy. I had gigs every single weekend, and I had recordings every single week. So eventually what I did was I basically made it so that nobody could book the day after or the morning after. So if someone wants to book the studio after I've had a gig, they cannot book any earlier than I think it's midday or 1 p.m. So it gives me time. And since I've started doing that, it's so much better. I don't want to be sitting behind the mixing console recording a band, and I'm only working at 60% capacity. I'm going to miss things. I'm going to make mistakes, and it shouldn't factor. That shouldn't factor when someone books the studio and expects a level of quality, and I'm not delivering my 100%. That's not good enough. So I've taken it out of my diary, and that was a bad habit that I had. I did that too often, and I addressed it. And I think it's better overall.
Yeah, for me, those ones, I was getting into a habit of getting up too late, and also eating bad. Just eating really bad. It got worse when I was in university, because there was just rehearsals on all the time, and some days I would be in from like 8 in the morning, till 9 at night. Like,
solid.
solid, like 13 hours. It's too long to be in one building, and the only option that I had available to me, I can't take, I can't take a full day's rations, with me. I don't have the space for that in my bag, as well as taking an instrument and this and that and the other thing. So I was eating a lot of food, and it wasn't even like, I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't go to like a good restaurant or anything like that to eat food. I was takeout, or like getting food from a supermarket, like ready-made stuff.
But even restaurant food isn't healthy in general. I mean, it's all full of sugar and salt and oils. And
Yeah,
all
I mean, it depends when you go or what you get. You need to be really careful, like, so even then, like, I think if I was loaded and I was able to eat, because there's people that eat at restaurants every day and they're fine, they're called the 1%.
The 1%
they usually have
the
a
1%.
chef. Yeah, it's the 1% of the 1%. But I think if I had been eating, good food that was actually made on premises, it would have been okay. But I was eating stuff with added sugar, loads of preservatives, and it totally messed me up. I was basically like, I gained so much weight. Not only through that, but stress as well didn't help. And that was taking a toll on. Actually, it takes a toll on your sleeping pattern. Like the more you weigh, it's sleeping is harder. You're more tired. You feel sluggish. And it just makes you unhappy. Because you're looking at yourself and you're going, oh boy. And then there's things that you're doing that you can't, things that you used to be able to do, you suddenly can't do anymore. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why? Why has this happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so once you've gone through that painful process of sorting out what needs sorting out, start replacing them with good things, and we're going to get into some tactics on how you can go about and do that. These are all, at the end of the day, I'm not neither of us are trained psychological or medical professionals, right? We're just two guys that play music and do things and talk about stuff.
Yep.
So we recommend that if there's something that we mentioned that you want to work on, don't go on what we're saying. Like, look stuff up, talk to your doctor, wherever you are, or whoever it is. Consult with a medical or psychological professional, and you'll be fine. That's the bit for saving our asses. That's it. That's it out and done with. So some good habits, basically the opposite of what we're talking about. Eat better, more regular sleep, instrument practice, exercise, and we'll get into that now. So some tactics for developing good habits. All of these ones that I'm going to talk about they're all what's the word? I've done them all, and they have all worked. They have their drawbacks, sometimes, and some of them might work for you, some of them might not, because everybody's, we're all individuals, we're all wired slightly differently,
Yep.
So let's start. So the first one here is just start one habit at a time.
Yep.
I would really bad for going, I'm an overachiever sometimes. So I'm like, right, I have all this stuff to do. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And I make a huge list of impossible things. And then I fail. Yes. And I'm like, well, it looks like I can't do it. Right. So start with one thing. Right? And it can be really stupid. Something like, if you've realized that, hey, my dental hygiene isn't as good as I'd like it to be, sort that out first. Because it's a tiny thing that you can sort out. You just need to brush your teeth twice a day.
Yeah, 5 minutes a day, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. And you can floss if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Sorry, that was a really bad joke. You can dance if you want to. Safety dance, safety floss. But yeah, just start with a little, just start with brushing your teeth, or like Jordan Peterson likes to say, just start by making your bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if it's the waking up early thing that you want to do, work on that. Just start, it doesn't matter what I do. I need to make sure that I get up at X time, right? And then once that starts feeling like clockwork, you can start working on other things.
What I like about
Bit
that
by
philosophy is if you can't figure out what to do, literally just wherever you're sitting currently, if you're sitting in a room in your house or whatever, a good sort of way of figuring out what to do is just look around you and just look around the room, and anything that sort of jumps out at you that annoys you, like, oh, that I was meant to take out that bin, that's annoying me. Right. That immediately in my vicinity, I'm looking at that. That's annoying me. Or I've got a pile of jack leads that are sitting there. Or I've got some, what do you call it, dust bunnies gathering in the corner of my room under my computer desk that I know are there and I can see them with my eye right now. Just get up and do that one thing, and then sit back down.
Do it.
And just do one thing at a time. And eventually, if you do that often enough, all the annoyances that are in your peripheral vision will all be dealt with over time.
Yeah. So, for example, for me, I don't spend a lot of time in my room, so I don't I don't know. I just sleep in it.
Right.
Really.
Right.
You know. So I do. Well, I need to be careful with what I say here because Rachel's got her headphone. No, she's got her headphones on, so I can lie. I do the beds. I do the bed sometimes, Rachel, don't I? Sometimes. You heard it here. You heard it here, folks. Sometimes.
As in you make it, or as in you change it?
No, I make it.
You occasionally.
Yeah,
make it, yeah.
yeah. But if we put a percentage on it, 80%, is that 75? Come on, give me at least 75. Give me at least 72. 72.5.
I'll give you 72.5.
Okay.
Level up your negotiation skills.
It'd be terrible in like a street market haggling. It would be really bad. Anyway, but things like that. When I notice that my desk has gotten a little bit out of kilter, I try and sort that out, because it's things like that will just tick away at you, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, just start with little habits, just little things, one at a time. Not everything at once.
No,
you know,
no,
because then, you know, if your thing is like, I really need to give up the smoking habit that I've got, just focus on that, you know, because we only have like a certain. I think I talked about this before. Like, we have like a limited resource of willpower per day. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Incremental.
You know,
make it incremental. Just like I smoke 20 cigarettes a day. I would really be happier if that was less. So let's try 18 tomorrow. Right. If I can do that, that wasn't so bad. Let me try 15. Right. That's not so bad. Okay, I can do this. 12, and just keep doing that, and then eventually. You know, going from 20 to 0 is hard. But if you take it in little chunks, you go, well, that wasn't so bad. I can actually do this. Unless... I
mean, none of us have tried to, and none of us, we don't have any vices, like smoking vices like that. So,
no.
You know, let us know in the comments or wherever you are, like, if you have gone through something like this, because we'll mention it, you know.
You can go cold turkey on these things. You know? I mean,
but you can't go cold turkey. Basically,
my grandfather went cold turkey. He smoked a pack a day or a couple of packs a day or whatever, and he just stopped like that because he was an incredibly stubborn man, like the worst.
Yeah.
And he would just do it. He would just do things like that. He would just, you know, make a decision. I'm doing this now. That's just the type of person he was. But. I mean, not everyone's like that. Like today, I mean, there's a little bit of that in me. I was like, I am horrendously unfit right now because of lockdown, and I'm usually quite active. I'm out gigging and I'm humping instruments and
like
gear
playing drums is a very physical
all the time
thing.
And I've noticed that it hurts to sit now. My legs have basically just wasted away. I'm not walking enough. I'm not using my legs enough. My legs are so skinny. It's horrendous. So I've decided every day I'm going to cycle 4 miles. So this morning I got up, had my breakfast, cleaned up, jumped on my bike and cycled 4 miles. Nearly killed me, but I'm going to do it every single day. I'm going to do it every single day, and eventually it'll get better.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's good. It's good cycling weather.
It was 4 degrees this morning, and it was snowing. There was sort of haily snow.
Oh, was it snowing where you were?
Yeah, it was haily snow while I was cycling.
I mean, it's very sunny where I am, but
it got to that, when it's so cold that you have no sense of smell anymore because it's so cold inside your nose. It's just like, yeah, I actually enjoyed it. It's really woke me up for the day.
Yes,
it was great, and I did it roughly 10 o'clock. So I'm going to do that literally every day. That's a new habit that I want to get into, just to try and build my legs back up again, because it's ridiculous. Actually, it's sore to sit down.
It's crazy.
My legs are they ache. I can't sit down for longer than an hour. They start to ache. I have to move around, just because I'm not moving. I've got the health app thing that comes with all iPhones, and it records your step count and all this. And I see the step count for all the way back from 2016 to now, and it's really high. My daily average is back then was between 8 and 10,000 steps average.
Yeah,
daily
which
average.
Is
That's quite low even. But average was okay. There were some days I would do 20,000, some days I would do 5, but it just depended. But it averaged out to around about between 8 and 10,000. And through lockdown, my average is 4,000. It's more than half. It's just, you can see the graph, it just goes way down. Just because I'm not doing anything.
I think everybody's like that,
especially if you're working from home, you're not commuting, you're not going to the train, you're not walking around town. It's like going shopping. You can do 40,000 steps shopping at the weekend. Take the girlfriend out for lunch and shopping and all that. That's a lot of walking, especially in Buchanan Street or whatever. You're up and down and up and down. I'm not doing that. We're not walking to restaurants or walking to train stations or the bus, we're just sitting in the house all the time. It's really bad, really, really bad.
Yeah. Next one. This is my favorite. I really like this one. It works. It just straight up works. Just do something hard, so your new habit, right? While you're doing something that you like. Okay. So, this is a perfect example of I like drinking coffee.
Yep.
It tastes good, right?
Yep.
So when I was starting to get into little habits like that, I started making myself a cup of coffee before I started editing videos, or if I was I started getting back into reading because I was a total caveman, and I was I don't read anymore, so I was let me start reading again. So grab a book, make a coffee, read. At this point it's probably decaf coffees, because otherwise I'd be yeah, exactly. I'd be seeing things, but yeah, it's just perfect. It's just a really good example.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing something.
I don't know what else to tell you.
Something.
Or it could even be so with music, it really works, right? I was actually I was doing this. I gave up because the end game of Shadow of War is just. So for a while I was I'm going to take this opportunity to listen to music that I really like. So I turned the music off in the game, and I was fighting orcs while I was listening to the Bangles and Cat Stevens and stuff like that, and I was having a great time,
Yeah.
But it lost its charm after a while. But listening to music, or if there's an audiobook that you're really enjoying, like only allow yourself to listen to that audiobook or that podcast or whatever it is when you're doing something.
Right.
You know, as an example.
I clean the studio. I wash my car, my van, hoovering, dusting, doing tasks that don't require brain power. I stick in an audiobook or a podcast.
I get bored is the thing.
Oh, it's so boring.
If I don't do
so
that.
boring, hoovering and things.
And that's the reason I put them off, because they're boring.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you make them interesting. So you do something you like, and then before you know it, you're not like you've forgotten that you're doing the dishes. You're just listening to whatever it is you like to listen to, you know?
Yeah, so right.
So that's a good one. This one's also a pretty good one. It's pretty great. If you can't be bothered doing something, do it anyway, but just do it for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Right? And this can go both ways, right? So you know, like, even if you've only done it for 10 minutes, at least you did it. Right? But if you start doing it and before you know it, like 10 minutes pass by and you're like, actually, let me just keep going because I'm here now. You know?
It's the thought of doing it is worse than actually doing it.
The worst, yeah, exactly. So just that sort of, like, 10 minutes isn't really a long time, you know? It's like, it's long enough that you'll probably get something substantial done, you know? So, like, for me, I hate doing admin email stuff. Right? I can't stand it. I just think it's the most boring thing ever.
Yep.
Right? But, yeah, just going like, you know,
I'll do this one.
I'll do this one. It won't take me long. And then I'll just,
and then you end up doing 3 others.
And then you end up doing a bunch of other stuff, you know. It's like thumbnails. Thumbnails are boring sometimes because it's just tedious. You're just going, you know, for me, for the gaming for the gaming channel, I'm just like, right, well, I guess I just need to change this number. And I need to change it again, and it's monotonous and it's boring, and I just don't like doing it because it's boring. But I'm like, I'll just sit down.
I've made the podcast thumbnail design fun. So what I do is I try and look for the worst photo I could get. I'll get you pulling like a really crazy face, like.
Which is what I do that quite a lot. So it must be quite easy for me.
Yeah. I always try and get like the worst poses or just the most random, weird looking things.
Moments.
So it gives me enjoyment, like just trying to look for that.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that one's just no nonsense, really.
Oh.
It could even be like, you know, I can't be bothered going out for a walk. I'm really bad for this, right? I need to start getting better. I'm going to start using this and just be like, well, I could just go out and walk around the block, and at least I went outside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the excuse I was using for not cycling or walking or whatever. Occasionally, I would walk like once a week, but I'm going to cycle every day. And I was like, oh, it'll take so long, blah, blah. It took me 26 minutes. I timed myself 26 minutes to do 4 miles. That's nothing.
And I mean, once those 4 miles get easy.
That's day one. That was day one. Like if I do this for like 6 months, it's going to take me like 10 minutes. I'm going to be like, you know, Chris Hoy.
You'll be doing triathlons before we know it.
Yeah. I mean, it was so funny. Like, I was doing like the first stretch is downhill, and then you turn a corner and then it's up a little hill. I'm like, oh, I'm doing really well. And then I'm like, okay, right. And you know, when you stand up in your bike and you start pedaling hard, I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. Oh, wait, no, this is bad. Ow! Like immediate pain. I was like, oh no, I am really unfit, because I can still remember I used to be able to cycle that hard for a good solid 5-10 minutes before I would get tired. Whereas now I can do it for like 30 seconds and I get tired. So it's going to be an uphill struggle. Pardon the pun.
Right. So got a couple more to go. This one, these two are also great. This one kind of ties in with the doing things you like with a new habit. Just linking a habit that you have already with another one, right? So
if you live alone, caveat.
What?
If you live alone, I would
Yeah,
say this
if you
works. This next one.
Yeah, for sure. So, the example that I gave here is if you're having breakfast, right? You're just sitting there, just eating. You might as well do something.
Mm-hmm.
So, do your emails. Well, it's something that Rachel's been doing is she's been wanting to get better at her Spanish. So what she's been doing is she does Duolingo
Okay.
while she has her breakfast.
Right.
And it doesn't take her long.
The reason why
You
I
know?
say if you live alone, I am wholeheartedly against phones and distractions at the table if you're with someone.
Yes.
Because I think mealtime should be time for communication with your
for
spouse
sure.
or whoever you're living with.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm totally for that. You know, 100. At dinner time is definitely you eat dinner.
Yeah.
You don't do anything else. You know, the other meals for me are a little bit more flexible. You know, especially lunch. But yeah, that's just one example. Another example would be like if you've already gotten into the habit of showering, right? Which I hope you would. You know, you're already you know, you don't have to wash your hair or anything. You're at least you know washing your body. You stinky person.
Level up your
every
hygiene.
morning.
Level up your
Level
fragrance.
up your hygiene. Well, you might as well, while you're there, have you ever brushed your teeth in a shower?
No.
I feel like it's the most like life hack of life hacks.
What? Do you do that?
Yes.
What?
In the morning, I brush my teeth in the shower. It's great.
You keep your toothbrush and your toothpaste in the shower?
I have a small bathroom. So I
you
can
do,
reach
you do,
over.
Yeah.
I can reach over and grab my toothbrush.
To be fair,
And-
that makes perfect sense.
You know, I'm not suggesting you do other things like poo in the shower. Don't do that. I mean, I guess you could do that if you live alone. I don't know.
Oh my god.
It's a bit gross, but I mean, like, yeah. You know, I brush my teeth and
It's really
shower.
weird. I've never heard of anyone doing that. That's bizarre.
Hey man, I'm not the. I'm gonna say it, man. I'm not the only one. PewDiePie, YouTube's most successful YouTuber, 110 mil, right?
Yes.
110 million subscribers. He brushes his teeth in the shower, right?
It's mental.
So I'm not alone. He also eats his pizza from the inside out, so
I don't get that. Yeah.
with a knife and fork. So he has maybe there's something a little weird going on. But yeah, linking habits is really excellent. It's great.
Okay.
Highly recommend it.
All right.
And to all of you out there, just try having try brushing your teeth in the shower, because it's great. It's fantastic. It saves so much time. And the last one, and I think this one's really important because I guess I'm quite a food motivated person. Sure, eating healthy, right? Make sure the food that you're eating is good, right?
Yeah.
You know, I get ads for things like I get ads for Huel.
Oh,
all
yeah,
the time.
Same, all the time, yeah.
And I'm like,
Especially on Reddit.
No, what are you doing?
I don't even know what
What,
it
you're
is.
ju-
What is it?
Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah.
It's powder that you mix with water, and it gives you like all your nutrients for the day.
What?
Yeah, it gives you all your calories, all your fats, all your vitamins, whatever. Sure, fine. It's one of those things where when you look at it on paper, it makes perfect sense. You're like, of course. Why would you not want to do that?
I'm pretty sure that was,
Until you suddenly realize we're not, we're human beings. We're not
Yeah.
like robots, that just need to like sit and get charged up,
This was
get
an
juiced
episode of Dexter's Lab on Cartoon Network. This is definitely a dystopian alternative future, and it was a cartoon I used to watch. Do you remember watching
Yeah,
Dexter's
Dexter's
Lab?
Lab's great. Yeah.
That was
It's
where
fantastic.
he went to an alternative universe where his parents fed him it was just basically a plate full of pills, and it had all the vitamins and nutrients that you get from food. And he was like, actually, I don't want this. This is terrible. I prefer just my mum's home cooked meals. And he's like, oh, some things are scientific and some things kind of aren't. Some things are more human and things we enjoy rather than just plain old,
Yeah.
yeah, I get
Exactly.
that. Like if your food that you're eating is healthy but it tastes like garbage, like why bother?
Technically, I don't think there's anything wrong with Huel because it meets all your dietary requirements.
On paper,
I guess,
yeah.
on paper, but not really because each person's different. Like some people, need to eat more vegetables than other people. Some people can't because it makes them sick. You know what I mean? Like some people need to eat less carbs. Some people need to eat more carbs. It's just everybody's different.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need to eat food that tastes good. Even if it's just like really simple food, that it needs to taste good. Otherwise, you will be miserable.
I hate asparagus, right? I thought I hated asparagus. But what I actually hate is boiled asparagus in water, right? Until I discovered you can roast it in a baking tray with maybe a little bit of Parma ham and some nice olive oil, and it gets all sort of crusty, and it's got a nice sort of crunch. The ends are crunchy, and then it's dead succulent with the you can actually prepare it, and I like it. Like I thought I didn't like it. It's just the way it was prepared, and little things like that. Although cauliflower is just like the spawn of the devil.
No, cauliflower is terrible.
I hate cauliflower so much.
It's failed broccoli, is what it is.
It's disgusting. I just hate it.
It's just terrible broccoli. Cauliflower cheese, no thank you. Broccoli cheese, that's where it's.
I love broccoli.
Anyway, broccoli's fantastic. Which is funny because it's one of those foods as a kid we're like, oh, broccoli, and it's like, no, actually, it's really tasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, healthy does not mean tasteless, and healthy does not also mean salads every day.
No, salads
Don't
are
do
actually
that.
not that great because lettuce just bloats you up. I found
that's
that
all it
it
does.
bloats me up anyway. Spinach and all that.
But yeah, make sure the food you're eating is good. Oh, and this is another important thing because this is getting back to the thing that I was saying before. Consult a GP or if you're worried about if you're looking at your health things and if you're looking at your bad habits and your good habits and you're like, I really need to sort out my diet and you don't know where to start, get in touch with your GP. Get an appointment with them, talk to them. You can get an appointment with a dietitian as well. You can request one. Might take a couple of weeks, but they can take you through the steps and you can talk to them, be able to help you. Do not. This is important. The reason because people get these two mixed up. A dietitian is not the same thing as a nutritionist. A dietitian is somebody who actually understands food and has studied that particular science, right? That medical science. A nutritionist is, it's homeopathy. It's not.
All right. Okay.
It's the total
Woo-woo stuff.
opposite. It's stuff like the Atkins diet and things like that. It's not. It's just nonsense. It's just absolute nonsense.
I know nothing about this.
Yeah, no, because you've been eating. You have a really good diet. Like all the fad diets that are out there. It's all just garbage.
Yeah, I've never been on a diet. I've eaten full fat milk and cheese and cream and yogurt my entire life. I've never had.
And
anything
here's the
less.
thing, which is stuff that's demonized now, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing that. I've been cooking things with like lard,
I have never cooked
and
with
I'm
lard.
losing weight.
yeah.
Yeah,
it's mad.
which is mad. First of all, I'm not like it's like lard isn't bad. It's just animal fat. It's just rendered animal fat. It's just they've taken the fat from a pig, and they've melted it down, and now it comes in a handy dandy little cube, and you can just slice it up and cook it again.
I don't know how good that is for your arteries, mind you. That's the thing.
Well, I mean, like you need to. It's all in moderation, isn't it? I'm not like
Exactly.
stuffing my face.
Just eating lard.
I'm not just eating lard, obviously. It's all part of a balanced diet.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk to your GP.
Yes.
Don't
take our advice.
They will sort you out. Really, and do some research. Don't just be like, Julian's been eating cooking things in lard and he's been losing weight. Maybe I'll do that.
No.
And then you're like, that's
Go look into
you're
it.
just like,
Yeah.
go look into it, do stuff. A book that I recommend, although to be perfectly honest, Rachel that's read it, and she's just given me the important bits.
Okay.
It's a book called Why We Eat Too Much. So it's called Why We Eat close bracket too much, the new science of appetite. It's by a guy called Andrew Jenkinson, who runs an obesity clinic. So he's like a proper he's a certified doctor, and he breaks down and he's been working with people who are like morbidly obese and has got them to lose weight. And he talks you through how he does it and the problem with food today and stuff like that. And it's great. Really, it's great stuff. So check it out. So Why We Eat Too Much, Andrew Jenkinson.
Interesting.
Really, really good book. If that's what you're needing to work on,
Yeah. Cool.
definitely highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It wasn't much about music today, but I think just
I mean, this all kind of impacts your
it does a lot.
it impacts everything,
Because like they're talking about like opening up and gigs starting back soon, and there's going to be a lot of unfit musicians out there going back out to gigs, and it's going to be a hard time. So we suggest, while we've still got a month or two before we start seeing gigs, why not get a jump start and break yourself into physical exercise, getting your diet sorted out, because you want to make that first gig as easy as you can get it, because we all know that we're going to be making so many mistakes. That first rehearsal is going to be rough, so rough.
I had a rehearsal today, actually.
Did you?
It was rough.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, how music again?
Yeah.
No, it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to play music with people, but it was tough. It was really tough.
I've got a gig this Thursday, actually, an online gig that I'm recording.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were going to do it live, but it's just too unpredictable. So we're going to pre-record it and then send it off. So I'm going to be playing for the first time with other people since the last time I recorded with you, which would have been last summer. But this is a full band, so technically this is the first time I played with a full band since March 2020. So that's going to be interesting. We haven't rehearsed. I haven't played a gig with this band since the second week in March of 2020.
Wow.
I haven't seen one of them since then either. I haven't even seen them. So it's going to be. It's over a year. It's really weird.
That's crazy.
Level up your habits. I think we all need to level up our habits, especially in preparation for trying to get back to a new normal. It's definitely last few weeks are a wake up call for me anyway. I just need to get more exercise in, definitely, because me personally, I've been heavily affected by lockdowns, just because my entire career is like all social music based, and it's all been taken away. So
Yeah.
my entire routine has changed. So a couple of bad habits have creeped in there. So yeah, taking this opportunity to, we're not perfect. That's why we keep saying like, this podcast is for us as well. Like we take we try to take our own advice.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Totally. 100%.
Yeah. We bring these things up because we are sometimes guilty of not doing these things. Yeah. So hopefully that helps. If this is the type of stuff you want to hear from us, then let us know. If you would rather hear the more musical stuff, then also let us know. But we've been getting some feedback on YouTube. There's been a couple of people making some comments on YouTube, which is cool. So keep it up.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good to know what everyone thinks of the podcast, and to help other people hear the podcast, if you could leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, that would help us immensely. Means more people would get to see and hear our sweet voices.
Yeah, share it with friends.
Yeah,
know.
Your bandmates or whatever. Like, check this podcast out; it's pretty good. Blah blah blah.
Your mum and dad, I don't know.
Your gran.
They might be into it.
I don't know. The more the merrier. Yeah, you can check out our social media. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and we also have a website, levelupyourband.com. Check it all out. It's all good, I promise.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's all pretty great.
It really is. If anyone has any requests or ideas for topics or guests or bands to cover, let us know. We're always looking for stuff to cover. So yeah, that was a good episode. Little bit of some tough love or hard to swallow medicine. It's always good. It's always good to get some stuff in order. So yeah, I have no idea what we've got in store for next week. We might do some more live stuff. I don't know, some more live gig oriented.
Yeah,
things.
actually, some more live gig stuff would be good in preparation.
Yeah,
In
preparation for your first gig. Assume that you're going to be terrible at your instrument.
Yes,
Good safe assumption.
Yes.
Yeah, so
100%.
yeah, we'll maybe dive into that. So cool. Hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.